Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is a third-person action-adventure from Ashen developer A44 Games that boasts dynamic combat, aerial traversal, and a deep narrative. But none of these factors managed to coalesce into a fun experience that felt worthy of my 11 or so hour playtime. You take control of Noor, a sapper or infantry soldier on the front lines in a war against the dead. In a failed final push to seal the mystical door where the dead are emerging, a dangerous and powerful god named Uru is set free and tears your squad apart. But Uru isn't the only one. You're saved by a small fox-like creature named Enki, another god who wants to help you set the world right. Using your sapper training and Enki's borrowed abilities, you set off to stop the other gods from ending the world. I really like the design and gravitas that Uru, Enki, and the other gods you meet possess. They truly throw their weight around and enter into conversations with each other that feel beyond you as a human observer. Noor is generally distrustful of the mystical and isn't initially happy to have Enki as a partner, so watching their relationship grow, stress, and heal was a highlight for the storytelling. But the pacing of that journey often felt rushed. Noor's sentiments and values would appear to swing wildly over the course of the game, sometimes seeming much warmer towards Enki during random conversations mid-gameplay than she would when a cutscene started. Noor also deals with several other NPCs who the game repeatedly tells us she's close to, but failed to transfer any of that sentiment to me as the player, either through cutscenes or gameplay mechanics. The larger game world lacks a strong sense of place. Despite the high fidelity of the locations you visit, few stand out or compel you to take in the scenery. Towns you save will be filled with people and objects that just don't react to your presence, save for opponents for an out-of-place board game called Sebo. Unremarkable cave systems and cliff sides weren't aided by the addition of swirling purple energy or blue crystals when they'd appear again later in the game. The unique mixed setting of magic and gunpowder often falls flat as a result. This lack of identity carries over into the combat design, where you'll make use of a mix of melee weapons, flintlock pistols, and rifles. Your basic attacks don't expand, but you'll eventually unlock deeper mechanics, like speeding up combos with well-timed strikes or triggering special effects after dodges or parries thanks to various gear attributes. Platforming is aided by your supernatural ability to double jump and air dash, but it doesn't come into play in combat as often as I would have liked. In general, combat struggles to stay engaging even after you've reached the ends of some of the upgrade trees. While attacks are beautifully animated and weighty, the copious amounts of particle effects and slow motion only dress up a lack of variety in enemy types and behaviors. When dealing with larger numbers of opponents, there aren't good indicators of pending attacks from off-screen threats, and difficulty leans more on spongier health bars than distinct enemy attacks. Regardless of that, the adventure is light on challenge, as even the visually imposing bosses easily fall victim to chains of repeated parries, and your generous movement options keep you safe most of the time. I should clarify, they keep you safe in combat, but are amazingly clunky for their intended platforming purpose. Noor has a habit of failing to cling or clinging very late to clearly marked platforms. It wasn't enough to get me killed very often, but it was always frustrating to adjust for. The Rift navigation sections that let Noor traverse vast distances are primarily used as shortcuts back to base camps, or linear set pieces, rather than platforming puzzles or wider exploration that would have let me have fun with the exaggerated freedom of movement. I found myself fairly disappointed in what's on offer in Flintlock. While not a bad game by any stretch, it dabbles in a suite of ideas that all feel half-baked. Its world is big and beautiful, but static and monotone. Its combat and platforming are energetic and flashy, but ultimately lacking in depth and satisfaction. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn just doesn't push hard enough in any one direction to truly shine, but it's a solid base I wouldn't mind seeing built upon in the future. The game is out July 18th for $39.99 on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and included an Xbox Game Pass. I've gotta say, this one disappointed me quite a bit, mainly because I was really looking forward to it. It's a situation where the combat and movement look a lot better than how they feel, or rather, you don't get to use those tools in a meaningful enough way. Though it goes to show you how far the quality of character animations can take you, because even knowing now how lacking the combat is, it still looks pretty damn good. I guess that's one point for every anime arena fighter in existence.